better safe than sorry. We can always head off to one of these unexplored stairs and see how that goes. Do I not like stair dancing? A little bit. I find that I get a little bit bored in the like kind of tedium of it a lot of the times. So that's why my risk-loving brain just immediately is like, well, this time we don't need to, right? We'll be fine. When did we not have it? When did we ever not have it, really? So no, I don't have any like problems with it, as in I think it's cheap or that you shouldn't do it. I just, for me personally, find that I get a little tired of the process, and so I usually end up risking life and limb, even though I know that's probably not the best option for us. But we'll keep throwing out steam on this son of a gun, as well as frying the poison in their veins, and that is beautiful. And this is only Shoals 3, so hopefully we can get a bit of momentum coming for us here, or going for us rather, because it's not going to get better from here on out, unfortunately, as much as I wish it were not so. I have a sneaking suspicion that things are just going to get rougher as we go. We did have to face a few different Javelineers, I believe, last week, the first time that we came down to these parts. But I would not want to have to put my money where my mouth is in that regard, unless absolutely necessary. Let's head up and just replenish all of our things, do a bit of stair dancing ourselves. But your first instinct is to dance when you see stairs? Well, that just makes sense. That's totally different. If we're talking about stair dancing instead of stair dancing, well, whole nother story, my friend. Not a stair goes by that we don't get a bit of dancing done in that regard. But okie dokes. Not too shabby here so far. Again, feeling a lot more confident than the last time we were in these hereby parts. But I'm gonna keep playing it as cautiously as possible, because you never know when things are gonna really take a nasty turn, especially as we keep getting battered around by the winds here. In fact, let's start channeling some magic. If we don't lose statue form, we should be okay, especially since we can probably kill these sons of guns decently quickly. Just get the poison stacking, and beautiful. When playing this game in so many games you play, stair dancing is not an option. Like in Hydra Slayer, they're only downstairs. How are you supposed to dance without upstairs? Oh yes. And well, back in the day, everyone used to stair dance Tomb, and they definitely got wise to that, the devs, and decided to make that a bit trickier to do, which I found really cool the first time I came across it. Sure, it's terrifying in many ways. Unarmed combat manual. Could also take manual dodging, but I'm not too plussed about that, so let's start here. But I really like the design of Tomb and its unforgiving nature. It's a little puzzly, which so much of this game is not. I guess almost in that sense, it has a similar interest to me, or I like it in a very similar way to the Gauntlet time portals, because I find it really fun to introduce a kind of different form of strategic thinking in the game. I always find that to be a lot of fun. Let's take you for a bit of a walk. What are you? Vampiric Trident. Oh, then we definitely just want to irradiate and get you murdered real quick. Then you Kiddlywinks are a whole nother dealio, but we should be okay with a bit of Ignite Poison action. Wonderful. And in fact, let's just head back to our stairs to get a full replenishment here, or at least the option to. And then we'll head back into the mix, find the Avatar. Or not. I guess the Avatar is probably instead going to just find us in the worst moment possible, as is so often the case, unfortunately. The regular snapping turtle, that's a bit more my speed. Beautiful. And keep it moving on here. Not too shabby whatsoever. Mixture of poison and our own damage is wonderful to behold. And let's see. So fighting, we did get up to 9, and spellcasting has almost hit that cap of 12 that we set for it, which means We can start bringing unarmed combat back on the table. We can also take a look. We have 6 spell levels, so that's at least Manifold Assault added into our repertoire here, so maybe a bit of translocations training. That'll also give us the option of learning Passage of Galubria at some point down the road, so I like that. And what else could we forget here, potentially? I'm not ready to give up OTR yet. It's tempting to do something like IMB, but we saw just in that Ilsui fight recently that it still has its situational usefulness. I guess we have a lot of amnesia, so we could learn or forget Siren Ray and Magic Dart. That gives us 3, bringing us to a total of 9. That's a start. That is Manifold Assault and Passage, at least. In Hyper Rogue, there are no stairs, but there are lots of all sorts of dancing, because you need to face enemies one at a time. It is more like tactical movement. Well, isn't all dancing just tactical movement? With the goal of looking sick as heck. Okie dokie, my feathered friends. If we could all gather up, that's beautiful. That gives us a nice opportunity for Irradiate, and once more, fantastic, just beautiful. And what have we got here? Book of the Dragon. Look at that. So Dragon Form is also on the table here. I feel like I go with Dragon Form too often. Ever since I discovered the beauty of Dragon Form, I've just been obsessed. So maybe this can be a time to not go that direction and go for the Storm Form instead. The tempting part of it is that it's already at 9% failure rate. That's so close. Immediately bring that into the equation here. Man, you like Dragon Form as a transition form into Storm? If I didn't have Statue, for sure. What we found in one of our previous runs, I think it was with Catalete Portman, is that unfortunately the defensive capabilities in Dragon Form were lacking. So sure, you can kill everything if you get lucky. But we definitely ran into some trouble, specifically with the bad resistances kind of thrown in there. But I'm still very tempted to bring it into the mix, because I agree that it's a very nice transition form I should say, into Storm. Especially when we already have unarmed combat training, and we have that manual to just skyrocket that son of a gun up. Oh gosh, gonna choke on my own saliva. Just crying because Dragon Form is so beautiful, not because I choked on my own spit. Definitely not. Let's steam you real quick, my merfolk friend. Beautiful. Not too shabby. Well, let's spellcast and hit that 12 before we make any decisions. Train transmutation part of Storm Form first and use Dragon, and then Air Magic we'll use in Dragon. Just keep that like overlapping cascade stepladder approach. And you like Statue Form as transition form into Dragon. See, the tricky thing there is a lot of times, by the time you can cast Statue Form, you can also cast Dragon Form. I mean, Dragon Form would have been really nice to have here, and in fact, we could even learn it before heading down into Shoals 4, because the more subtle advantage there is flying. Being able to fly in Shoals is absolutely huge. But we'll see. We'll take a peek. This might be, I was going to say, a less waterlogged level, like the... what are they called? The Stormy Boys. Man, I'm blanking on everything today, apparently. But, you know, the castle ending for Shoals that we've gone many times before. Statue Form is level 6. It's much easier to cast. But it's also split school, which means you have to learn Earth and Transmutation, or enough Transmutation to cast Dragon. So I guess that's where it comes down to, is it's kind of situational for me, at least. Kind of what spells I have available for me. In this case, we were learning Conjuration and Earth Magic for Iron Shot, and so it just made a lot of sense when Statue Form showed up. Plus, I love Statue Form on my cats. But I can definitely see what you mean in a different situation. But okie dokie, here we go with the water nymphs. Or as we've come to know and love them, those nerds that make water appear. But no real issues for us here. Did you see me, my impaler friend? I would assume not, since you're still not here. Oh, whoa, the tides Tides really do be shifting out this way, huh? How about that? But perfect timing on it as we continue to explore. But Colgate, you need to get more patient with transitioning to dragon form. You've gone several bad mutations when you cast it with spell failure that can cause yellow contamination. Yeah, definitely feel you there. Sometimes you have to go for it because you need something, some form of offensive or defensive capability to get you through some troubling times. And it definitely comes with its own associated set of risks, to say the least. Actually, let's head to a different stairwell and we'll just kind of explore what all these are looking like, see if there's something a little more appreciable for our current state in life. Okay, 2 Javelineers means that we're probably not going to be hanging out here too long. At least we just have fear. Do we have any? I don't see any mesmerizers on the screen, so we don't have to worry too much about our lacking willpower. And there we go, spellcasting hitting its cap. And so I was down with just train more transmutations. That helps us across the board. Storm, dragon, and statue form, so that's good. Mesmerize is bad, Engulf is bad. Oh, definitely. Especially since I just want the option right now to get the heck out of dodge if I need to. I probably should learn a bit of air magic, but I guess before that, translocations needs a bit of a pick-me-up regardless. So let's bring that to 8. Could even probably bring it to 10 with a +4 aptitude. That's just going to be rocketing upwards. Maybe a bit of unarmed combat as well while we are at it. Beautiful. And let's see. Let's try not to push this too far. But if I can kill these Javelineers, that is huge. In fact, if I put on some clouds this direction, they at least won't be hitting me. And now they're dead. Beautiful. And then, as for you friends, let's do 1 Ignite Poison and see where that leaves us. You are so close to dead. I'm not sure if this will actually be enough damage to do it, but it's worth a shot. Beautiful. And very happy with how that went. Being able to take down 2 Javelineers is a big one. Oh, you just look at that, like, that's reasonable failure rate. Consequence for failure or worse than you'd prefer. That's how I feel when you've gone a couple of deaths, like you've lost a few of your bonus lives on Cat, so your level goes down and it skyrockets all your failures into like red territory, even if it's as low as like 7% failure rate. Fortunately, we didn't really see too many miscasts at those less than ideal rates in this run in particular, but it's definitely happened in the past. And say if you feel like fighting is never bad, even on a kitty, I definitely think I overlook it. There was somebody in the comments of YouTube that mentioned just the fact that like training fighting up to level 3 takes almost nothing and is around about as much of an offset as like worshipping Hep. So it's like a 10% change in your health. And I'd never really internalized quite how cheap that was for the huge difference that it makes. So at the very least in that regard, I want to be a little quicker to train fighting in the future. Still not first thing. I'm still more of a fan of getting offensive abilities online first, then defensive. But that's pretty huge. Transmutation spells are fine with a higher failure rate, but they can also double the contamination. Well, exactly right. I always preach that they can have you can have a rate of 12, and that's not too bad because you just need it to cast 1 time, and it lasts for a while. You're not spamming it every other turn. Definitely rough. And you lost a hunter yesterday, safe into a 2% blink failing. Oh, I feel that. I forget which character it was in this series that failed a 2% ignition twice in a row and died. It was rough. And do I not train fighting? I do eventually, Colgate, but I feel like I wait too long on Cat because I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna die anyway, what's the point? I don't have any health, so why bother? When really, especially for something as low as just getting it up to 3 points, that's hugely worth the investment. By the time you get to Lair, that's gonna be like 2 encounters, maybe a few more than that, but regardless, it's worth the investment, at least earlier than I have in the past. Usually it's around end of Lair that I start thinking of my defensive skills. But you have a super bad habit of rounding all your skills except your primary attack, which must go to the max you want it at. Yeah, I have lots of little self-imposed rules for my skills as well. For whatever reason, I really like my 6s, my 9s, and my 12s. And so I don't go to what like the ideal skill level is, and instead I kind of just faff about and aim for whichever number I like best. Okie dokie. Slowly but surely making this entrance our own, making this our home. A nice safe spot for us to relax in the future, so that is just lovely. We can wait a turn and let the poison truly infect all of our new friends. Hello, hello, come one, come all. Beautiful. And there we go, you love to see it. Want to be a little cautious with the water nymph, but as long as we can kill them from a distance, shouldn't be too bad. And you're wearing the ring Gokes. Dex +4, Slay +4. Fortunately not quite there. Safe bid for you will be like fighting 3, armor 4, dodging 3, just random even numbers, and then X is 18 immediately. Oh, 100%. I usually don't even bother with the rounding, but I feel like even that's probably a decent compromise between the two strategies, because I'm the same. On melee characters especially, it's all about that min-delay skill. Maybe leave fighting on a little bit on a melee character, just so you have the HP pool. But tons of bad habits on my side, so I feel that. But we have the anti-magic there. Fortunately, doesn't really get much time to wreak havoc on us, so that's beautiful. And we'll just see if anyone else is coming. Any other takers? Any other comers? Looks to be relatively clear. That can't be it. Right? This is a mimic. Right? We'll find out in a moment here. For now, we'll keep walking. What do you have? Just a +3 trident? Okay, that's not too shabby whatsoever. Let's see. Anyone else? Is there no one else? Oh, okay. Let's be careful taking unnecessary steps, but we definitely want to step up and irradiate this son of a gun. And in fact, there we go. Javelinier down is beautiful. As for the rest of you, we can probably just smash you with one of those. IMB, always lovely. Ooh, Satyr coming in the nick of time here to ruin my day. It is what it is. But let's see. What do I do with all of you, huh? Let's just blow you back once again here. I'm still worried about that Satyr, don't get me wrong. But we have a few more heal wounds potions than we did the last time we found ourselves in dire straits. So we can resort to that mixed with more OTR, Ignite Poison goodness. And that should get the job done. Beautiful. Your current rank Colgate is a Baraki Blaster caster that has just cleared Lair, 17 fighting, 12 dodge, and 7 shields. So yeah, you're definitely more on that that defensive train, hey? Again, that's one of the things I love about this game. Is just the sheer variety of approaches that you can take. Oh. I see why that was hurting so much. Right, airstrike on an open field, Ned. Do I hope an Ignite Poison just kills you, my friend? Hopefully you don't airstrike me again, is the other side of that coin. Let's go for it. And then run upstairs to heal up this time before we do something too stupid. But translocations just hit 8, so that's wonderful. Hey Necrawl, thank you so much for the 3 months Prime. 3 months already, time does fly. But always love having you around. And Buzz seems to be thriving. We're getting there for sure. Slowly but surely, we're making our way downtown. But let's set a cap on transmutations and take a look at where Manifold Assault is looking now. It is down to 3% failure rate. That's not too bad. We'll probably do a bit more translocation training at some point down the road. But that means we can probably shift over to gain that sweet, sweet storm form poppin'. Let's learn Manifold Assault now, leaving us with only 4 points left. Thanks for all the content. It's always a good time to be here. I'm glad. That definitely puts a smile on my face. But to me, I definitely appreciate all of you showing up and always giving me a good time. So thank you, really, at the end of the day. Glad it works out both directions, and turns out it was, in fact, the rune. Well, how about that? Fortunately, the Avatar does manage to catch a whiff of us here. I don't like the Javelineer also being around. Oh, how quickly we might end up swinging between the highs and the lows here. Let's start by just getting Avatar murdered, or not. That's cool too. In fact, I guess we're actually okay. Just get lucky for it. Don't get hit. Turns out that was the best advice that we received all run here. And do I even bother finishing Shoals? We got the rune. I'm not feeling great about depths or vaults at the moment. Not horrible either. I think that we at least have combinations of resistances in our inventory, and we just have to be a little on the balls of our feet when it comes to switching between them for each encounter. But that's definitely not the end of the world. I guess what we can do is just go back to Stormform here. OTR, Manifold Assault, and just rinse and repeat between the two of those. Beautiful. Nice and low risk scenario there where we can just escape up the stairs at any given opportunity, so I love to see it. I guess this is a nice little teaser. Like, we'll just be that but stronger, whether we go with Dragon or Stormform in the end here. I think the final floor can have some cool loot, then again I'm Felid, so what does loot even matter? The unfortunate truth of it all, right? At the end of the day here. Let's take a look and take a think about this for a second, shall we? It is experience. And if there's some rings down here, I mean, that's all I've been rambling about this entire time. So let's go to this final stairwell, and we'll see how things are cooking, see how things are looking. And it just might be a dream come true here. Ooh, that's an interesting spear. Vampiric, RF, cold vulnerability. If only we could take advantage of that on this merfolk Javelineer, but I think that that's fine. We'll just be ready to escape at a moment's notice here. And in fact, maybe just do it now. What's in this book that you just gifted me, Sif? Book of Fire has ignition in it. Oh, wow. I can take selfies next to the artifacts. Hashtag Ball5, hashtag wish you were here. Yeah, just flex on everyone when we come out of the dungeon and we have this collection of goods, and I can't even use them. I just do it for fun, you know, just because I can. Definitely quite the flex. You know what, let's do it. Let's channel some magic here. Ah, probably unnecessary. Sorry, Sif, for wasting your piety just a smidge. Does work out as we ended up getting blown away from the stairwell here, though. That's less than ideal. In fact, let's not try and Manifold Assault the Windrake, because I don't want to rely on hitting an evasive wind son of a gun. But that works. Also not selling them because they are mine. Exactly. No, you got the gist of it for sure. But okay, that's not too bad. We cleared out the starting area down this stair. I think we will do a little bit more exploring, even if I can get another blink scroll under my belt. I would be pretty miffed about that. So we'll give it a shot here and see how things are looking. Fortunately, the Aquamancer just immediately goes down to ignite poison. You love to see it. Another Aquamancer. Perfect. Just what the doctor ordered. We can just murder you though, probably, especially with a helping hand from Irradiate. Wonderful. And if this is how the rest of the floor goes, then I feel pretty good about this decision, all things considered. Definitely not too shabby when you're only facing a few of these Sons of Guns at a time, or at the very least only a few packs, because generally that's the issues when you start to get completely overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of enemies in the groups here. not quite nearly as bad when you're just slowly but surely whittling your way through the ranks. Okay, Javelineer. Let's see how things go this time around, my friend. I mean, to start off, we can get some steam going, so that's good damage, mixed with a triple poison ignite. Ooh, baby. Love to see it, and not too shabby. You like to feed stuff to Jivia, Clint? Is it important that Slime God has, or it is important that Slime God has a healthy diet of demon tridents? Oh, 100%. I know, what was that artifact spear? It was actually really nice, because that was the one we saw earlier, right? It has cold vulnerability, but otherwise it's like 2 pips of willpower, fire resistance, vampiric, int +2. It's only +3, and it's a spear, which generally at this stage in the game I wouldn't want to use even if I could, but definitely has an impressive number of egos on it for just some random spear that some rank and file Javelineer was lugging around here. Cool stat stick. Not too bad for sure, as long as you had the cold resistance to make up for it. To be completely honest, I usually am hoping for slightly better on my intelligence stat sticks, but that's a +2 intelligence. Definitely nothing to turn your nose up at. But even our Aquamancers, like you got a TSR, Nerf Super Sucker, Water Blaster, Win XP 100. So you're an Aquamancer. That's what you're saying, right? Because I think you're basically on par. Exactly the same magnitude of power levels. You two got into a battle to the death. I honestly couldn't for the life of me decide who would come out on top. That's a question for the ages. Super Soaker. Sorry, not Super Soaker. The TSR Nerf Super Soaker Water Blaster Win XP 100 versus one Thrown Icicle. Who wins? The answer may surprise you. The weapon is fast swap. Cold vulnerability doesn't matter unless you need cold resistances and will at the same time. Yeah, if you're just using it as a stat stick, definitely not too shabby at the end of the day. You know what? Well, you're all the way back there. I'm going to switch to cat form at the risk of just dying immediately, but I was pretty sure they couldn't one-shot us. Just get close to setting off all the panic receptors in my brain, but that's just your average dungeon delving experience at the end of the day here. And there you go. Perfect, and that's much smoother. Definitely no real complaints one way or the other. Can pop around this corner and let you come to me, my friends. Wonderful. It's interesting to find cool stat sticks, but with fragile. See, yeah, I find a lot of times for me, stat sticks end up being something that I do just hold on to the entire time. There are definitely cases where it's like a resistance stat stick and I end up swapping between it and something else. But a lot of the times, it's just like, here's a stick that has really good resistances or really good intelligence, and I'll just hold on to that. Like, my spells do all the work anyway. Why the heck do I care? Also, holy crap. There had to have been an Aquamancer convention going on here. You would have been right at home boss level. Look at all those sons of guns. Could have just started soaking. Wait a minute, remember that Twinkle Rush or Twinkle Tush thing for Felid's? Have enchanted Twinkle Tush for the game? I don't actually know what the Twinkle Tush is. It sounds to me like that's a good name for a bidet. But I have a sneaking suspicion that that is not, in fact, what the Twinkle Tush is. Holy moly. Turns out I was talking way too much trash about the thrown icicle. Jeez Louise, that hurt. Was that just one? It looked like it was just one hit all at the same time here, but jeez Louise. Yeah, partially resist that shard of ice. It's still just beautiful. Like you had a fragile stat stick that had See Invisible, so you used them against unseen horrors. This was the only source, contained until you found an alternative. Yeah, that makes sense. And you can imagine a bunch of merfolk gathering for Aquaman Con. It's really the only explanation here. In quick description, it's a little medallion that hangs from cattails to hide his shame. Oh, I do know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, devs? DCSS devs? Twinkle Tail when? Or Twinkle Tush when? Actually, it was your current run, +10 short sword, with protection, fragile, dex +7, and see invisible. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice, interesting use case for sure. But okay, I guess I do have to come to a decision here at some point here. And that's right, Dr. Pirate. Yeah, fragile is the ego that breaks when you take it off. It's what all of your equipment that you enchant through Ash gets imbued with. But you have 2 pips of willpower on each of these Aquamancers, so we could roll the dice, cross our fingers, and hope that a Fierce roll does the trick. Have a +2 Rapier of Electrocution. That's not too bad at the end of the day. Alternatively, I do use that final Blinks roll. Yellow it, trust Zom. We do have an extra life. Blinks roll, extra life, on similar magnitudes of usefulness here. So I believe. No one really got scared, but they also weren't able to do much. So how about that? I could drink a Heal Wounds and hope that we have a similar turn. Alternatively, 1 Ignite Poison kills one of these Aquamancers, so that's nice. And let's see, it's 3d23, so that's like 3d12, 36 damage max. I'm gonna try it. Oh, and it killed both the Aquamancers. To what do I owe the pleasure? Turns out, you might have been onto something, Necrohol. Just believe in the almighty powers of random. Believe in Zom, and Zom will believe in you too. I'm scared. No, I'm a brave little kitty cat. I ain't scared, not even for a second. No, you're definitely nailing on the head. But it's pretty fun when Zom just decides to end your run. It's even more fun when Zom decides to end your run, and then after letting you sweat, after letting you fret, pulls it back and gives you the exact tools needed to survive that situation. 3d23, could be 3, could be 69, like those odds. Yeah, not too bad at the end of the day. I love how swingy the damage is in this game. The fact that almost any like high level spell could just deal like 6 damage to you. That's nothing, right? On the flip side, it could do 150. It's wild stuff. Makes for some interesting games, to say the least. Do love that RNG.